All right, everybody, welcome back. So we're going to continue the conversation about paper trading. In the first video, I introduced some of the main topics, and I mentioned that there would be follow-up videos more specific to a particular kind of trading. So let's go over and look at some options trading and ways that you can do it in paper. All right, so first of all, we want to start the application. You actually have to log off of your main account and then log back in under your paper account. I'm sure somewhere along the way, someone ruined it for everybody, and that's why we have to log out. But either way, make sure you toggle it onto paper and then get yourself logged in. Now, the idea behind paper trading, we don't want to just go in all willy-nilly trying to trade a strategy, to learn a strategy, right? That has proven time and time again to not be a valuable way to learn a strategy. What you instead want to focus on is building a strategy first, and then studying that strategy, and then developing money management for that strategy, and then trying to trade the strategy. All right, so I am on paper. When it comes to how you're going to trade, whether you're day trading or swing trading, you want to have a good idea in mind of what it is that you're focused on, right? Are you going to do stocks or options? So for an example, here's Apple, and I want to focus on Apple. Let's go with Apple puts, right? So we're going to go to options, type in Apple. We're going to pick the 149 puts, and now I've got those 149 puts loaded. So if I was working on trying to paper trade in here, I would want to first know what I just did. I'd want to know how to repeat that. And I would want to be able to monitor the flow, right? Where's the bid? Where's the ask? How many participants are on the bid, on the ask? We can see it up here in the dome, and we can, oh, my drilling tool ain't working. We can see it in the dome, and we can see it in the level 2. We would want to know how to build bracket orders, how to put on stops and stop losses, stop targets, maybe build some OCOs. Now, Lucian's done a lot of videos on this, but it's not just Lucian's videos. It's what's my broker and where can I get information about how to use my broker effectively. One of the greatest things about using a paper account is you can't break it, right? So if I accidentally get into the market, I don't have to worry about, losing money because it's paper, right? I don't have to worry about it. So the goal at this point would not be me trying to actually make money. It would be more focused on me trying to figure out, how do I get in? How do I get out? How am I going to put a stop loss on, or how am I going to manage my money, right? So I consider this part how to, get familiar with your broker. It's one of the most valuable things about having a paper account. I have got a few brokers that don't offer paper, and it's really uncomfortable trading on them because, well, I've never had any opportunity to really kick the tires and use the platform without putting money at risk. And that's just an uncomfortable feeling. All right. So when you're on paper, take advantage of the opportunity that you're on paper and really get comfortable pushing the buttons and trying to get in and out and develop the technique that you like. Some people, they got hotkeys, some use the dome, maybe some people use the big buttons. Hey, whatever you want to do, right? There's no wrong way to go. I did get filled in that put, right? So now maybe we want to use a stop loss. So I'm going to come down and put a stop in place. And maybe I also want a target profit, say around $3. Let's just see where that puts it. Way down there. Could we even get that far down, right? How can we gauge the distance of our trade? What's the strategy? What's the setup? These are the things that you want to focus on for your paper trading. Now, I've been talking about day trades, but really when it comes to paper, in stocks and options, a lot of times we're going to be looking at swing trades. So what else would you want to do if you were focused on a swing trade? Well, let's say we wanted to go in and put this trade on. One thing that I would recommend for paper trading is to really understand the process. What is it that you're trying to do? Are you trying to see how this option is going to move? Right? Are you trying to see, like, would this be a good place to go short? These kind of things help you better understand the trade and the process, right? When it comes to options, for an example, I know a lot of people get stuck, or perhaps they get hung up on when should I take the trade and what's that trade going to look like, right? But if we treat options the way we would treat stock, would this be a good place to sell stock, right? Would I want to go short in the market? And why would I want to go short? If we were, say, taking a trade based on a rejection here across the highs, we hit supply, failed to break through it, started to move to the downside, then, hey, we got a pretty good trade setup here, right? Of course, we'd need to be worried about earnings, but we got in with an at the money put debit spread. It's a long put vertical, and we would just be looking to play this out. Now that was a swing trade. So how do I want to do this? I'm in paper. That trade's going to take some time. If I'm really going to swing it, I need to remember that the trade is on. I need to come back to this platform later on and maybe document the outcome. Did I win? Did I lose? Did I manage the trade appropriately? Did I get out in a way that I deemed appropriate? Right? Because these things, they can get you out at expiration because you held them all the way to expiration, or you can get out because it got to your target goal. Right now, speaking of target goals, I just got out of this trade that I was in because it hit my target. I no longer want that order on the dome. Notice how I'm very comfortable moving around on this platform. I can put orders on the dome. I can put my stops in, my target profits, and I'm not struggling and running in circles. This is exactly what the value of paper is. Now, another thing that you might think about doing is learning how to fade in and fade out of a play, changing quantity as you are participating in the move, for an example. Another thing that you could do would be to focus on how to measure your targets. These are the kind of things that in paper, they make perfect sense, right? But as I was taught in my psychology classes, and I say this all the time because it's really true, I was taught in my psychology classes that we cannot be a participant and an observer. And we really need to observe, right? It's one of the biggest things when it comes to trading. First, we got to know what the strategy is. What does it look like? How does it work? And the best way to do that is to learn it first. Go in and find it, study it, get old examples of it and measure it. Do anything that you have to do to learn more about that strategy. I stress this point because I see a lot of people will find a new strategy, say a 5-minute open range breakout, and they learn this new thing and they say, oh, a 5-minute open range breakout, that sounds like a great strategy. And they immediately go right to paper and start trying to trade that without ever doing any research or back testing or anything. They just like learn the strategy and jump right into it. Oh, I'm going to go and trade a 5-minute open range breakout. And then when it doesn't work, because they're trying it in paper and maybe they're trying it live and it's just all really crashing and burning, then I hear things like, oh, gosh, I don't know. When should I do it? When should I not? How come it didn't work this time? And what was my exit going to be? I'm going to continue to talk about the 5-minute open range, but we'll be using this example for anything when it comes to a new strategy. You want to find old examples first and then flesh it out more, understand it better, right? Dig deeper into the why of the thing. So here, for an example, Apple had news. It broke its 5-minute open range to the downside and it began to run. I like to get into things up here. And then if they do break to the downside, well, I'm already in it. I don't like to try to figure out how to short it once it's already done that. Then if it already has done that, I got to try to get in along these places, right? And that's okay, I guess is fine, but I'd much rather get in up here, right? So that's my kind of style. Would that work all the time? Well, one way to be able to answer that would be to go back and find old examples, right? Find previous 5-minute open range breakouts and study them. Were you able to see it in advance? How were you able to identify your target? How far did it go? What kind of day was it? How did the day start? Was it an afternoon breakout? You would want to learn as much about it as you could long before you ever traded it. Take notes, take pictures, study it in intimate detail. What is the strategy? And then after you've done all of that research, then put together a trading plan. How are you going to get in? What's your trigger to decide that now's the time? And then you get in. How do you define your exit? And then trade it and see, are you behaving the way that you thought you would behave? Is the market doing what you thought it was going to do? Review the trade afterwards and look for ways to improve. Remember, it's not about nitpicking and belittling your trade. It's going to be more about, okay, I took the trade. Is there anything that I can do next time to do it better? Did it give me an exit strategy? Did it give me an exit signal? Did I get out too soon? Did it scare me and shake me out? Did I hold on too long? How could I have held on longer? Find answers to that by looking at what you did do and then looking at the market and trying to find those signals. This is where a large part of the value comes in from trading in paper. Now, once you've managed to do this and you've found a strategy that you work on, that you understand, that you've done the research and the back testing for, and you've proven in paper that you can function correctly and you know how to use the broker correctly, and you're actually winning more often than you lose, and you're winning more money than you lose, then you could decide you're ready to try it live. And this transition from paper to live is the entire value and worth of actually doing this in paper, right? So for the people that's misunderstood me and thought perhaps I don't think paper is valuable, I do think it's valuable. It has a lot of value if we use it correctly, right? Just like any tool has value if we use it correctly. But no single tool by itself can get the entire job done. And if we're not using that tool correctly, then it's very likely not going to be very effective. All right, guys, so this was paper trading introduction on the options side of things, using the DOM a little bit, and perhaps just a quick discussion on what we're looking for, money management. And remember, this is about why we do those things, not how to do those things. We could have 100 videos on, how do I pick my targets and all of that. The point of this video is to guide you in the right direction so that you are going out and finding old examples of your strategy and then building the trade logic and then applying it to paper. I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you at the next video.